Big moves coming for the Falcons. Let's talk. Kyle Pitts. Falcons fans, things are heating up behind the scenes and we've got plenty to discuss. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and drop a rise up in the comments. Now let's get straight to it. There's been a lot of talk about a trade that could shake things up in Atlanta. And yes, we're talking about Kyle Pitts. When the Falcons drafted Pitts 4th overall in 2021, expectations were sky high. He was supposed to be a game-changing tight end, a rare talent who could redefine the position. But fast forward to today, has he really lived up to the hype? Let's be clear, Pitts hasn't been bad. In his first 4 seasons, he played 61 games, catching 196 passes for 2,651 yards and 10 touchdowns. Those are solid numbers. But do they scream elite tight end? Not quite. Falcons fans have seen flashes of brilliance, but not consistent dominance. And that's where things get interesting. According to Andrew Bullis of Sportsnaut, there's a real chance Pitts could be traded this offseason. He even predicted that the Indianapolis Colts might be a landing spot. Now, this is just speculation, but when you break it down, it starts to make sense. Pitts hasn't truly found his rhythm in Atlanta's offense. And if the Falcons want to shake things up, he could be a valuable trade piece. So why the Colts? Well, they have a young quarterback, Anthony Richardson, who could use a big, reliable target. Pitts could be the perfect weapon to help Richardson develop. What do you think? Should the Falcons move on from Pitts, or does he still have untapped potential in Atlanta? Let me know in the comments. Should the Falcons trade Kyle Pitts or keep him? Let's break it down. If Kyle Pitts gets traded, the Colts, or any team that picks him up, would be getting a dynamic weapon in the middle of the field. Plus, there's another big factor to consider: his contract. Pitts is entering the final year of his deal in 2025, which means if the Falcons don't see him as part of their long-term plans, now might be the best time to trade him while his value is still high. But let's look at the other side. What if the Falcons decide to keep him? Pitts is still only 24 years old, and there's plenty of time for him to develop into the elite tight end many believed he would become. And it's not like he hasn't been productive. Maybe all he needs is the right system, the right coach, and the right quarterback to unlock his full potential. Let's not forget what he did in college at Florida. He was an absolute beast for the Gators. He finished his college career with 100 catches, 1,492 yards, and 18 touchdowns. His final season alone, a ridiculous 770 yards and 12 touchdowns on just 43 receptions. That's the kind of dominance the Falcons were hoping for when they drafted him. So here's the big question. Should Atlanta trade Kyle Pitts or keep him and try to make it work? There are strong arguments on both sides. Maybe a fresh start on another team would help him reach his potential. Or maybe the Falcons just need to use him better. One thing's for sure, this is a situation to watch closely as the offseason unfolds. Now I want to hear from you, Falcons fans. Should Atlanta move on from Pitts and get as much as they can for him now? Or do you still believe he can become the game-changing tight end we all expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And here's something else to think about. The Falcons missed the playoffs for the 7th straight season and are currently $11.9 million over the cap. One of the worst financial situations in the league. That only adds more pressure to make the right decision on Pitts. This offseason could be a turning point for the Falcons. Stay tuned. Tough decisions ahead for the Falcons. Who's on the chopping block? With the Falcons deep in salary cap trouble, some tough decisions are coming, and unfortunately, one of them might involve saying goodbye to veteran defensive tackle David Onyemata. Now let's be clear, this isn't about performance. Onyemata was solid for Atlanta last season. He played every game, racking up 3 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and 5 QB hits. He was a key piece on the defensive line, ranking 38th out of 118 qualified interior linemen. But here's the problem. His contract. Last offseason, the Falcons gave Onyemata a 3-year, $35 million deal to reunite him with his former Saints position coach, Ryan Nielsen. But with Nielsen gone after just one season, Onyemata's future in Atlanta is uncertain. The cap crunch. Is Onyemata a casualty? The Falcons need to shed salary, and cutting Onyemata would help. If they release him now, it would leave them with $8.8 million in dead cap, but also free up $8 million in space. If they designate him as a post-June WARN cut, that cap relief jumps to $10.5 million. Of course, there's another way the Falcons could save even more money, cutting Grady Jarrett. Could Grady Jarrett be on the way out? Moving on from Jarrett would free up a massive $16 million in 2025. But let's be real, this would be a shocking decision. Jarrett has been the heart and soul of this defense for nearly a decade. Letting him go would be a huge statement about the team's direction. What will the Falcons do? At the end of the day, GM Terry Fontenot has some tough choices ahead. The Falcons need to fix their cap situation while still building a competitive team. Do they cut Onyemata to save money? Would they really consider moving on from Jarrett? Or is there another move coming? One thing's for sure, this offseason is going to be interesting. Stay tuned. Falcons fans, it's time to weigh in. Now I want to hear from you, Falcons fans. Should the team cut David Onyemata to free up cap space, or should they find another way to fix the numbers? And what about Grady Jarrett? Could the unthinkable really happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get this debate started. But that's not the only big decision Atlanta is facing. A new era at quarterback. Again, the Falcons are heading into 2025 with their 5th different starting quarterback in 5 seasons. That's a lot of turnover at the most important position in football. This time, it's first-round pick Michael Penix Jr. stepping in. But his first 3 starts last season weren't exactly smooth. The offense looked good, averaging 32 points per game, but the defense struggled, leading to a 1-2 record for the rookie. Some fans believe Penix should have taken over sooner, especially since Kirk Cousins had a tough stretch with injuries and inconsistent play during a crucial 4-game losing streak. However, the Falcons front office insists that Cousins' health wasn't a major factor, despite what many fans and analysts have speculated. Bijan Robinson is all in on Penix. No matter what happened behind the scenes, the transition has now been made, and Bijan Robinson is making sure Penix is ready for the challenge. Robinson understands how the NFL works and knows that quarterback changes are part of the game. He recently told RG reporter DJ Siddiqui, "That's the NFL, so you can't really be surprised when things happen. You just have to learn how to adapt, support each other, and be ready to go." What's next for Penix? Penix's numbers in his first 3 starts weren't eye-popping, just 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But those games could be the start of something much bigger in 2025. His teammates, led by Robinson, have rallied behind him, understanding that a young quarterback needs time to develop. "We had to make sure Mike was ready to go," Robinson said. And now, it's his team. Can Michael Penix Jr. be the long-term answer for the Falcons? Bijan Robinson knows how important a stable quarterback is, not just for the team, but for his own success. "He's a young guy," Robinson said. "He had his first 3 starts, so I always made sure he was locked in and ready." And he means it. Despite being an elite talent, Robinson's first 2 seasons have been part of back-to-back losing campaigns, thanks in part to the constant QB changes. But he's not making excuses. He's staying focused on what he can control. "For me, it's all about being consistent week to week," Robinson said. "Obviously, we want to make the playoffs, chase big goals, and win a Super Bowl. But we have to take it 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. In this league, the moment you start looking too far ahead, you get smacked in the mouth." Is this finally the end of Atlanta's QB carousel? The Falcons are hoping that Michael Penix Jr. will finally bring stability to the quarterback position. After 5 years of constant changes under center, Robinson and the rest of the team are determined to make sure this is the last time they have to break in a new starter. If Penix develops the way they hope, Atlanta could finally have a franchise quarterback, something Falcons fans have been waiting for. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Michael Penix Jr. is the long-term answer for the Falcons? Can Bijan Robinson's leadership help him take that next step? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let's get this conversation going. And don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Rise up, Falcons fans.